The story of Dragon Well tea. Today, let us explore Dragon Well tea, once presented as a tribute to the imperial court of the Qing dynasty. Dragon Well tea, or Longjing tea, is produced in the Longjing village near Hangzhou, Zhejiang province, from which it takes its name. Among them, the tea grown on Lion Peak Mountain Shifeng Shan is considered the finest. With its long history, Longjing tea carries many fascinating stories. Long ago, at the entrance of a small village called Longjing, there lived an old woman in a humble hut. Beside her cottage stood 18 ancient tea trees. Though she cared for them with devotion, the trees were weak from lack of fertilizer, producing only a few leaves each year. The tea leaves were poor in quality. Despite her hardships, the old woman was kind at heart. Every day, she brewed tea from her trees and offered it to travelers passing by. One day, as usual, she served a cup of tea to an elderly stranger. After drinking, the old man noticed a large, worn stone mortar outside her hut and said, "Ah, there is a treasure here. Madam, would you sell me that mortar?" The woman laughed and replied, "That old mortar is hardly a treasure. If you want it, just take it." The old man thanked her and went to find help to move it. In his absence, the kind-hearted woman thought the mortar too dirty to be given away as it was filled with rotting leaves, animal droppings, and soil. So she cleaned it thoroughly and buried the contents beneath her tea trees. When the old man returned, he was surprised to see the mortar empty, and asked what had happened to its contents. "I cleaned it out just now," she answered. The old man smiled and said, "That was the treasure I spoke of. But since you buried it under your tea trees, you have done well." With those words, he vanished. From then on, the 18 tea trees flourished, with lush green branches and tender leaves. The tea they produced became fragrant and rich in flavor. Eventually, tea from this place came to be called Dragon Well tea, named after the village itself. During the Qing dynasty, Emperor Jianlong was a great connoisseur of tea. On his 6 southern tours of the Jiangnan region, local officials would always present their finest teas. On one such visit to Hangzhou's West Lake, an official offered him Shifeng Longjing tea. The jade-green liquor and upright floating leaves in the cup looked exquisite. When the emperor sipped it, his mouth was filled with a refreshing fragrance and a pure, lingering taste. "What tea is this?" he asked. "This is Shifeng Longjing tea, harvested from the tea fields near the temple of Master Hu on Lion Peak Mountain," replied the official. The next day, Emperor Jianlong visited the temple grounds. There, he saw 18 tea trees lined up on either side of the temple's front gate, their dark green leaves bursting with fresh spring buds. The emperor even joined the tea-picking women, learning how to pluck the tender shoots. Later, he followed the monks to the tea workshop at the foot of the mountain to watch how the tea was made. When he departed, he was presented with 2 packets of Shifeng Longjing. Back in the capital, the Empress Dowager happened to be ill. The emperor ordered that the freshly brought Longjing tea be brewed and offered to her. After drinking it daily for several days, she felt her health improve. Delighted, Jianlong decreed that the 18 trees before the temple be honored as imperial tea trees, and that tea from this area be submitted to the court each year as tribute. From then on, Longjing tea became renowned as an imperial tribute tea. Even today, on the slopes before Longjing Temple, bright green tea fields stretch across the hillsides. The leaves grown here are fragrant, tender, and highly prized. In early spring, the young buds infused with sunlight yield the finest grade, known as Mingqin tea harvested before the Qingming festival. Harvesting requires skill and patience, usually following the one bud with 1 or 2 leaves standard. Because it is delicate work, the leaves are always picked by hand. Once picked, the leaves must be processed immediately to preserve their freshness. First, they are pan-fired, shacking in a hot wok to halt oxidation and remove grassy odors. Next, they are gently shaped by hand roux yen, giving Longjing its signature flat and smooth appearance. Finally, the leaves are carefully dried over a soft fire, enhancing their fragrance and flavor. The finished tea is admired for its 4 qualities: jade green color, rich aroma, Sweet taste, and elegant shape. The leaves are flat like a sparrow's tongue, their color. A glossy emerald with hints of rice yellow. The fragrance is fresh yet lingering. And the flavor leaves a sweet aftertaste that fills the mouth. Longjing tea. May a cup of this clear, refreshing tea wash away your weariness and bring peace to your day. Thank you for watching.